What's up guys, how you guys doing? I'm Daniel Thomas, and in this episode I thought I'd do a rundown of the 5 main apps I use when I'm traveling abroad. So these apps are sort of ones that I just find useful, find informative, they help me. I'm going to do in another video 5 apps that help save me money, but these are just 5 apps that I find informative, useful, sort of beneficial for me really. So I thought I'd share them with you, and you might have come across them, you might not have, but hopefully you'll find some use for them. So guys, first app. It's called Polar Steps. Really useful, love it. I thought I'd start off with probably my favourite app, the one I find the coolest. But what Polar Steps essentially is you put in information about your holiday, where you're going, well, not so much where you're going, but the time that you're going, so when your trip's starting, when it's finishing, and then it essentially just tracks you then. So I've got one here that I put in for Summer Holiday 2018. I've already put that in. It tells me how many nights I've got until my trip starts, so it's kind of works as a countdown as well. But what I find great about it is, here's one I did for Interrailing last year, and you probably saw my earlier video on Interrailing. I'll link it in the description below. So it just sort of tracks you, as you can see here. It tracks you, so where we flew from. So we started in Amsterdam, and then it can track your movements. If you click on it, it'll bring up any photos you took in that location. So it's a really good way of tracking your trip, tracking your travels, keeping a close eye on them. So these are all the pictures we took in Munich. Random bunnies. Yeah, it's just a really good app. And then what you can do is, once you've done the holiday, you've come back, you've looked through all your photos, you've reminisced about the trip, you've had a good time, you can then go into My Travel Books. So what My Travel Books is essentially a book, who would have thought, that plots your travels that you've just done. So if we just load it up here. Okay, so it loads up your travel book. So if we go into it and have a look at it, it gives a really good breakdown of your trip summary, how many miles you travelled, how many days you went for, where you went, what you did in those days, the photos you've got, all of that. It's really good. And you can of course change this as you wish. You don't have to have it exactly like this if you don't want to. And then you essentially send it off, and they post it to you. Then you get it. I think it's about 2 weeks later, 10 days, 2 weeks later, something like that. And it's about 30 quid a book as well. I mean, you can get the more expensive ones, which have got more pages in, but I think the basic books start about 30 quid. So yeah. So that's my first app really, and I find that a really good app, really useful. Just for interest really, if nothing else. Okay, so the next app I have, you probably have all heard of them, Lonely Planet. I do always take Lonely Planet guides with me wherever I go. Sometimes in book form, sometimes I use the app. The problem with the books is they are a bit cumbersome, whereas with the app you've got it all obviously in your phone, so you can just put it in your pocket. What I will say is there isn't as much information in the app as there is in the book. But I think there's enough to get by, to be honest. I don't think you're lacking anything. Yes, I am enjoying the app. I don't think you are. I don't think, I don't want to rate it. Go away. Go. So I don't think you lose out from anything in the book. It's not as detailed, but I think everything that you pretty much need on your average holiday is there. So you've got a map of everything. You can tap it to download the map if you're in a place that doesn't have a good Wi-Fi or data signal. You've got a list of things to see. So this is Athens. I've already downloaded the Athens ones for my upcoming Athens trip in a couple of months. Always prepared. So yeah, So you can go into the Acropolis site, and it's got the information there relating to the Acropolis that you want. You can pin it as a bookmark, which is useful because then you can just quickly find it whenever you need to. You've got opening times. You know, it's the information you'd find in the book, just on an app. It's just a really, really useful bit of information, a really good, useful tool. So yeah, so that's my second app that I always use. My third, kind of a boring one, but I think an important one, XE Currency. I'll link all these apps in the description below so that you can get them if you're an iPhone user or an Android user, you know, whichever one you want. But this is essentially just a currency exchange app, but I find that it's extremely easy to use, and it's got so many currencies there. I've never ever not been able to find a currency. So yeah, so at the moment it's on euros, so you can tap on that and see, you know, how much 10 euros is £8.80. Simple. Or $12.13 if you're in America, you know, it's simple things like that. Or you know, so I went to Hungary, so Hungarian forints, I think it's forints, I don't think Florence is definitely, yeah, it's Florence. Florence is a place in Italy I'm thinking of. Florence. So yeah, so you know, you put how much is 800 forints? £2.25. Simple. Also in Hungary, you do feel mega rich because you're like taking out 3,000 forints at a time. I'll spend that on dinner. It's great. It's amazing. So yeah, so that's my third app, XE Currency. Fourth app, I really discovered this really last year, and it's really useful if you're traveling around anywhere, especially Europe, by train, because it's the Rail Planner app, and it's just a useful app to tell you, you know, changes of trains, what train you should be catching, what platform it's leaving from, when it leaves. It's just a really good way of being able to travel around Europe by train, and it's got all the information you need. So for instance, if you're going from Munich and you want to go to let's say Dusseldorf, so you can depart now, or you can set it to another time like you can with pretty much any other train app I've ever come across, and you search. So if it, you know, it comes up with the red symbol, so that, you know, it's a train, because they do things like trams and things like that as well, or walking, you know, if you've got to walk a bit. So click on that, and then it tells you the train you've got to catch, that it actually serves meals. It's got a restaurant, it shows you all the symbols are. If you don't want like that one, you can go up the top. You know, for this one, the 628, for instance, one change. Things like, it's a really, really useful app if you're traveling around Europe by train. And even if you're not traveling around Europe by train, but just want to get from A to B, you know, perhaps you're in Italy and you want to go down the Amalfi Coast, and you want to get to the south of the Amalfi, then, you know, you can use this, and boom, Bob's your uncle. I used it because we were planning a holiday in Sicily, and I just wanted to see how long it would take to get from the east to west side. So I just simply used this app for that, and it was very easy. And I worked out that it was actually going to be too long, so it's easy peasy. So that's my fourth app. Now my fifth app, which is just a really useful app, especially for all of you organisational people out there. Anybody who likes to be organised for their trip at all, this is the app for you. I think they're owned by Google, actually, TripIt. I might be wrong, or that might be another company. They're either owned by Google or they're not. Simple. But anyway, yeah, so you can create a holiday for yourself. So I've got my Athens holiday down here, and then you can go into it, and then you can add plans. And if you add plans, you've got flights, car rentals, rail, cruise, transportation, lodging, meeting, activity, restaurant, parking, etc., etc. So if you click on flight, so it's got all the information. You can put in your departure date, you can put in the airline you're flying with, your flight number, even your seats and your confirmation number, all the information related to your flight, and you can add, you know, as many flights as you want. Same for car rental, company, confirmation number, description, where you're picking it up from, all that. It's really, really useful. And then you've got lodging, so that's things like hotels, hostels. So name, check-in time, check-out time, address, where it is, and then if you want, you know, if you want for say a hotel, you can actually add it to the map. So you can put in a location name, an address, date you've got to be there, time you've got to be there, and then when you open the map up and you open that location up, actually it'll show you how long it'll take you to get there and things like that. It's a really, really good app, I find, and definitely worth downloading, especially if you love being organised. And it's a great place as well to have all of your information in one place, so that you're not searching through emails. Just a second, you know, it's all there, all laid out for you. You can also put links into emails if you want, so then you just go into it and press the link and it'll take you to your email. Those are the 5, yeah, so those are the 5 apps that I use whenever I'm traveling. I love them. I love using them. They just make everything so much easier. The Polar Steps one, the first one I showed you, doesn't so much make life easier, but it does make life cooler. And especially when you come home and then you can send off for that book and then it arrives 2 weeks later and you've got things to show people. It's amazing. So I recommend those 5 apps. I'll put the links of all of them into the description for, you know, if you're an iPhone user or an Android user, I'll put both the links in. But yeah, so thanks for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a big thumbs up because it does help, you know, with algorithms and things. So thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.